What if I told you that one man turned himself into a prisoner just to break someone else out? This isn't just a show. This is a masterclass in strategy, loyalty, and mental warfare. Michael Scofield isn't just a fictional character, he's a blueprint for precision thinking under pressure. In a world driven by chaos, he remains calm. In the face of injustice, he takes action. And in every impossible situation, he finds a way out. But how does a man become so focused, so selfless, so brilliant that he can manipulate entire systems from behind bars? Let's break down the mind of the mastermind. This is the story and psychology of Michael Scofield. Michael's story doesn't begin with rebellion or crime. It begins with love. His older brother, Lincoln Burroughs, is sentenced to death for a crime he didn't commit. And instead of trusting the legal system, Michael trusts his mind. He devises an outrageous plan. Get arrested, go to the same prison, and break Lincoln out. But what's shocking isn't just the idea. It's the execution. Michael isn't impulsive. He's precise. Every tattoo, every detail on his body is a piece of the puzzle. Every movement, every word is designed for a larger purpose. And the most fascinating part? He's willing to destroy his own life to save someone else's. This tells us something powerful. Michael is more than intelligent. He's driven by purpose. And that's what makes him so dangerous to any system built on control. He believes in something bigger than himself, and that belief gives him the power to challenge everything. Michael's intelligence isn't just raw, it's refined. He doesn't just memorize schematics, he sees the world as a series of moving parts. He anticipates failure, prepares backup plans, and thinks 5 moves ahead like a chess grandmaster trapped in a prison cell. He doesn't enter the prison impulsively. He enters with complete certainty that he will leave it, not alone, but with his brother. That's the mission. And that kind of purpose gives him a psychological edge over everyone else inside. While other inmates act on impulse or desperation, Michael acts with foresight. He anticipates problems before they arise and guides the narrative of each day like a silent conductor. Even when things go wrong, and they often do, his adaptability keeps him steps ahead. He studies people, learns their weaknesses, builds alliances, and leverages information. His brain is a weapon, and he uses it without ever raising his voice. But Michael's brilliance isn't in being flashy, it's in being surgical. When panic erupts around him, he's already adjusted the plan. He doesn't just react, he orchestrates. Even when things fall apart, it looks like they're falling into place. Michael's control of emotion is just as impressive as his control of information. He designed the very prison he's trying to escape. That means every vent, corridor, and camera angle is part of his plan. His full-body tattoo? It's not art. It's a puzzle, a roadmap hidden in plain sight. And he memorized every detail. But intelligence alone isn't what sets him apart. It's how he applies it under pressure. In a world where chaos reigns, Michael imposes order. When others panic, he calculates. For someone navigating violence and betrayal on a daily basis, Michael rarely loses composure. He's emotionally intelligent, reading people, building trust, and de-escalating threats before they explode. But it's not about being emotionless, it's about managing emotion wisely. He's not robotic, he cares deeply. That's why his silence is so powerful. He doesn't speak unless it's necessary, and when he does, people listen. And his plans aren't rigid, they're alive, constantly evolving as new threats emerge. When a piece of the puzzle changes, he adapts without hesitation. He prepares for Plan B, C, and D before Plan A even unfolds. Even when allies become unpredictable or enemies strike first, Michael rarely shows fear. He knows fear clouds judgment, and he can't afford that. Every decision carries weight, not just for himself, but for those who depend on him. There's something magnetic about someone who sees everything 5 steps ahead. Suker, for example, trusts Michael not because he's strong, but because he knows Michael has thought of everything. Even in the face of unimaginable stress, he maintains a sense of inner balance that becomes his greatest asset. That's why others follow him, even without fully understanding the plan. Michael Scofield doesn't just survive pain. He embraces it as part of the mission. From the very beginning, he chooses to endure. He knows that tattooing a full-body blueprint onto his skin will hurt like hell, but he does it anyway. Why? Because pain is temporary. Saving his brother? That's permanent. He walks into prison knowing what's waiting, violence, threats, isolation, psychological torment. But Michael doesn't break. Not when he's jumped in the yard, not when he's locked in solitary. Not even when he's forced to harm others to protect the bigger picture. Throughout the series, we see a man constantly pushing his limits. With a tumor growing in his brain, causing seizures and intense suffering, he continues plotting, building, executing. He doesn't let sickness stop him. He doesn't even complain. He just adapts. Michael's ability to suppress his own needs, sleep, comfort, safety, is part of what makes him so formidable. He takes beatings. He gets stitched up in filthy conditions. He's burned, bruised, bleeding, but always moving forward. There's a scene where he's being tortured for information. Most people would have folded in minutes. Michael holds out, calculating every moment, waiting for the right time to turn the situation in his favor. His emotional endurance is just as intense. Imagine pretending to be okay while knowing your every move could fail and cost someone their life. Imagine carrying the burden of being the only hope, day after day. Michael carries that weight. He sacrifices everything, his career, his health, his freedom, even his future, for those he loves. He often isolates himself emotionally, taking on the burden alone so no one else has to. He carries guilt quietly and rarely lets anyone see the weight he bears. And the deeper he goes, the more we see the cracks beneath the surface, the mental toll, the moral compromises, the strain of always being the one with the answers. His story reminds us that greatness often walks hand in hand with pain, and sometimes the people who seem the strongest are the ones breaking silently. But Michael keeps going, not because he has to, but because he chooses to. Michael's journey is more than a prison break. It's a story about what happens when intelligence meets integrity and strategy meets sacrifice. He's the kind of character that leaves an impression, not because of superpowers or violence, but because of discipline, courage, and devotion. He teaches us that real strength isn't loud. It's not reckless. It's quiet, patient, and relentless. And that the smartest person in the room isn't the one who talks the most, but the one who listens, plans, and acts with purpose. Michael Scofield is proof that you don't need to be a hero to change lives. You just need a mission and the will to follow it through. If you've made it this far, then you already understand why Michael Scofield isn't just another TV character. He's an icon of calculated brilliance and emotional depth. Let me know in the comments, what part of Michael's personality impressed you the most? Was it the strategy, the self-sacrifice, or the way he always stayed 2 steps ahead? And if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel, hit the like button to support this project, and don't forget, there's another video on the screen right now that I know you'll enjoy just as much. Thanks for watching. Until next time.